Join me in welcoming DC's #1 mentalist, Daniel David.
He plugged his business up here. Oh my God.
That was Mentalist Daniel David bringing down the house at the Funders Forum Brokers Expo 2026 recently, and we had a chance to sit down with him after the show and get to know him a little better and what tricks he can teach us. All right, super excited to have here at the Funders Forum Daniel David. He's a mentalist, and he put on an amazing show this morning to the crowd, and I wanted to have a chance to speak to him and ask him a lot of different questions, and we'll see what we can get out of you, all your secrets, right? So
Maybe one or two.
yeah. So just talk first, like, how do you think the show went, and is it? I mean, I know you have a ton of these, so how do you look at each one, maybe compared to the last one?
I think it went well. I mean, it was a little early in the morning, and we're at a casino hotel,
Right.
you know, I could tell there were some people that were up late last night. And,
Yeah.
You know, the first opening and general sessions are always, you know, a little bit different, but it's mostly the changes that I noticed the most are based on the industry. You know, there's different people who have different types of personalities naturally. So people in finance are a little bit different than people that would be in the arts. You know, that seems obvious, but you know, it's interesting from my perspective because they resonate with certain things I say differently. You know, they laugh even at different moments. You know, so I kind of just have to go out there and, you know, sort of the first couple of minutes are figuring all that out for me and feeling the crowd out and kind of adapting from there.
Okay. And about how long have you been doing this?
I think I watched a YouTube video like 3 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, that's easy.
Yeah, listen, that's quick. All right, for all you guys out there, 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
YouTube University.
Yeah, no, and in all seriousness though, I mean, when I first got into the magic world, I would say 16 years ago.
Wow.
When I first started learning, I guess, card tricks, but professionally, when I did my first paid gig, I think I was 18, so maybe 12 years.
Okay. And you're from the DC area, is that right?
I'm born and raised in Baltimore,
Baltimore.
But I'm based out of DC now, and I travel all over.
Got it. So how did you then learn some of the things? And is there any sort of kind of tips or helpful hints on how some of this stuff is either done, or and for those that may want to get into being a mentalist?
I don't recommend it. I don't want more competition.
Right? No, that's true. Yes. X that.
No, so, well, I mentioned this in my program earlier briefly. You know, I had a pretty rough childhood. I experienced a lot of trauma, and because of that, I had to get good at reading people out of survival. And I know, you know, I'm sure a lot of your viewers can relate. You know, we all go through things when we're growing up, and some people, there's always someone that has it harder. So because of that, I had to learn how to sort of read people out of survival. I just had to kind of pick up the vibes, know if this is somebody that I can trust. So those are skills I always sort of had naturally ingrained in me from a young age. But then when I got older and I started learning the principles of magic and the psychology of it, there was actually some interesting crossover that I was able to apply, you know, my natural skills as well as some of the ones I was learning. When I found out that mentalism is a genre of magic, that you could use a lot of those things, that's kind of what got me into that.
And so, like, I was, you know, talking with you a little bit earlier about do mentalists really study, you know, FBI profilers or psychology? Like, how do you, you know, address that or talk about that?
So, yes and no. I think we study a lot of those types of things, but more just to get inspiration for what we're going to discuss on stage. You know, you don't have to be a master of reading body language in order to do what I do. And most mentalists that say they are lying, to be honest with you.
Good to know.
Yeah, and you know, there's just no simple way. We've all heard things like, oh, if they look to the left, they're lying, you know, things like that. And that's just not true. You know, there's some people are really good at lying.
Yeah.
Because some people, you can't just like spot it.
It's kind of like, and being in a casino, I played a lot of poker back in the day. I would actually study body language, kind of read some of this and watch videos, and it's like, all right, up and to the left, they're bluffing, or up and to the, or down to the right, they got it, you know, got the cards, and then people who actually know that that's what they could be doing to be bluffing, they would do it on purpose, thinking that you saw them and that now they think you're bluffing when you really have the hand.
Yeah, and that's kind of what makes it fun about what I do too, because as you saw, it's very interactive. You know, and it's based on the people. It's based on information. I don't know what they're going to draw. I don't know what the names are going to be. I don't know what their birthdays are. So every show is different, and I kind of have to adapt to what I'm given. And everybody plays the games differently. You know, like when I'm asking people to lie to me on stage, you know, you're all trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out. And some people, they do it differently. You know, so yeah, it's tough to say, but at the end of the day, I mean, just paying attention is the obvious but most important thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, there's so many things that you did this morning. I was like, how in the heck? There's no paid, what do you call them in the audience? Stooges, or
Plants.
you know, they're in on it. None of that. Yeah, I mean, because when you had the one that I helped you out with, the banner, I'm like, I have no clue what's going to be on this. And then I'm hitting random numbers in the calculator. There's no way this could be possible. And then
So what else would you like to share? I mean, I didn't even give a lot about your background, but you are all over major media as far as coverage from the ABC News to the CNN to whoever, major medias. You're out there. You're doing really big things. I'm happy for you. Happy that you joined the show.
So what else would you like folks to know, or what else you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on social media at Mind of Daniel David, all one word, or you can send a letter to my house or something like that. If you want to get in contact, my website's daniel-david.com. And I would say just, you know, I've met thousands and thousands of people in my life, and we kind of talked about this off camera. I think the most important thing you can do in your personal life and in your professional life is just listen. Just listen to other people and ask questions. And I would say listen more than you speak. And that applies to what I do, despite the names I was talking about.
Right.
But at the end of the day,
Applies to sales. A lot of the guys in the crowd are doing sales. So
100%.
a lot of people, when they first start sales, they just talk too much, right? It's
yeah, they're trying to pitch the product too hard. They're saying
Yeah.
too much. They're not even listening. You know, they're not picking up on the body language, the subtle cues of, is this person even interested in what I have to say?
right.
You know, like you're trying to get this whole pitch out. They're looking around the room. They might check their watch. They're like looking at where they're going to walk to next, and you're missing out on all the essential things that make a good connection and that close sales. You know? So paying attention, listening, and asking questions are all things that are required to do what I do and perfectly translate to sales.
Okay. All right, and so there is one thing I wanted to ask you. You had one of the part of the program where people were kind of drawing things, and they had to say yes to everything. You had a guess who was lying. Yeah, basically, is the summation, and that the last person, you know, or really everyone you guessed right. So how is it? And for all the women out there, they want to know. How is it you know when somebody's lying?
Well, first of all, I think women are probably the better ones at lying. But again, it's hard to kind of tell. I mean, you know, everybody lies in different ways, and I really don't have a good answer. You know, you kind of just have to do what I was talking about earlier. You have to pay attention. You have to ask questions, and people, I think, naturally reveal themselves. You know, you just have to allow the room for it to happen. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could say it's as simple as if they look up to the right, they're lying, but unfortunately, that's more for movies than it is reality.
Right, yeah, each person has their own things. Like, I think she mentioned, the woman on stage mentioned, like, her pulse is rapid because you're, you know, holding it, tight or whatever, and someone else is laughing too much. And so it's like one of those things, nervousness, if they are lying or telling the truth, then you have to figure out it's not just one movement or action, it's now, right, two might give you that higher indicator.
Yeah, the situation actually changes how people lie or how effective it is as well. You know, if you're sitting down on the couch with your significant other and they think you might not, you know, you might be cheating or something like that, and they're asking you questions, that's a much higher pressure situation where, you know, there's going to be more emotions involved than me just asking someone on stage, is this your drawing? Right. You know, like there's going to be very different emotional reactions to those two situations. So
very good point.
Yeah, exactly. And then we were discussing poker earlier. You know, if there's thousands and thousands of dollars on the line, you know, that changes things as well. So, you know, it's always different, but it just circles back to pay attention more than you think you need to.
Okay. It's a hilarious moments up on stage, but thank you so much for taking a few minutes. It was great having you. I wish you nothing but success, and see you soon.
Very much.
Thank you.